NCAA basketball totals for Thursday, March 9th. We are in the middle of some good conference tournament action here. March Madness is upon us. It's just been a fantastic season. We hope to, well, it's been good for our totals, as well as far as our picks. Unfortunately, yesterday we were 1-1, got a little bit snake bit on an overtime game, but that happens. It seems this year, though, that's been happening more against us than for us. Just kind of one of those weird seasons. Still, when all is said and done, we're still sitting right around 55%. So can't complain too much. Hopefully, we'll knock out two today. We got two plays on the card. For you new guys, this is where we look at totals in NCAA basketball, and we try to beat the line either going over or under the total. We have an over and under today in these matchups here. Just some fantastic games across the board. It's just a great time of year to be a college basketball fan. Don't forget also we got SBRpicks.com sportsbook review. You got to check that out for all the sign up bonuses, our Facebook page, YouTube channel, and we have an NBA live segment that we do Sunday through Thursday. That's at 4 o'clock Eastern, and I think the time's going to change on that next week. So tune in tomorrow and check that one out. We were 2-0 in our NBA picks, and that segment's been really fun. Then don't get me wrong, I was 2-0 yesterday, but the totals for NBA this season I have not been very good. So I'm not touting myself at all. We have a little bit of a winning record, but profit has not been there. We're gonna get there though by the end of the year. I'm gonna keep working hard. But the segment's great because it's live and we get a chance for guys to come in and go ahead and make some comments and stuff. And so join into that one, share that video. That's a lot of fun. That's on our Facebook page again, 4 o'clock Eastern for a sportsbook review. Let's look at some totals. So we got NCAA basketball here. First one we're going to look at is Tennessee and Georgia. Really kind of a numbers play for me here because, Barnes likes to go really fast with Tennessee, and Georgia's been a very good scoring team. Odds makers have it at 143. I'm going to go under because this line looks a little bit weird, which is a tactic we've been putting in play this season where the line just kind of looks off. When we got their last matchup here, Georgia won 76-75. Now, the reason why I like the under is because the tempo in that game, and I don't expect this tempo tonight, is going to be very fast, even though Barnes is typically, when he was at Texas and now at Tennessee, likes to kind of get up tempo. But I don't see that happening in this matchup. I really think the defenses are going to step up, and I'll tell you more about that in just one second. But looking at the last time they met in that game that went down to the wire, they shot. Well, Georgia specifically shot out of their minds. They shot 51.8% from the floor. Tennessee, not that great, just 42%. But again, the tempo wasn't really that fast, with Georgia getting up 56 attempts and Tennessee getting up 62. That's decently quick. But still, that's kind of a big number in proportion to that sort of tempo at that 143. And it kind of looks like, and I know this sounds strange and guys always kind of call me out on this, but I'm hitting 55%, so I must be doing something right. I'll talk like this and it seems like, well, definitely over the totals to play, but I don't think so. I think odds makers are on top of it right now, and this is the time of year where you kind of got to take second looks at the numbers and see which way they might want you leaning and kind of go the other way. I think it's a good strategy to put in. We're going to put it in this game, and you can agree with me or not. 3-pointers, Georgia, they shot great, 36.8%. From the floor in that matchup. I'm still talking about Tennessee, not so great, around 30%. Pretty clean game, though, not a lot of turnovers. And, we had a final there of 151. Now, odds makers have gone ahead and made this 143. Another reason I like backing under the total here is because the last two times they've met up, well, the only two times they've met up, the last two times they've met up this year and then the last game they played last year, there was a 150 and then a 143 and a half. But what I want to focus on is the game they had this year. So that 143 and a half, they went over the total, and it was a decent pace. Shooting was okay. Georgia shot particularly well, but yeah, odds makers have come out at 143. They've gone under this total. So it seems like they got this number just about correct. But what I really, really like in this game and why I am pulling the trigger on the under is these are two underrated defenses. They actually play some defense. Georgia, right now, they rank in the top 50 in opponent overall shooting percentage, allowing just 41.2%. They're ranked in the top 50 in opponent 2-point shooting percentage, allowing 45.7%. They're in that top area as well as opponent effective field goal percentage. It's a good Georgia defense, and Tennessee has been surprisingly good. They're allowing opponents to shoot just 42.6% overall. That's not bad. That's one of the better numbers in the SEC. And then you got them allowing just 46.2% on opponents' 2-point shots. So you know, at the end of the day, I think odds makers have this right. The numbers across the board are really even as far as they average in the low 70s, both give and take. And then finally, the one last point I want to make, and I'm going to move on to the next game, is these are neither of these teams are particularly really solid statistically when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. You got Tennessee, although they do push tempo, they're shooting just 42% from the floor. Georgia, the same thing, where they're a little bit slower than Tennessee. The tempo is not bad, about the middle of the country, but they're shooting just 44%. So I like under this 143. I think we're seeing more of a defensive battle in this matchup. All right, and the next one, kind of the same theory here, but we're going over the total, and that's Utah State, excuse me, and Nevada. I kind of like that Nevada team. They could, if they can get in, they could make some noise. That's a pretty decent team they got there. Right now, odds makers have it at 148, and I'm going to go over. Kind of the same theory here. When, you know, well, statistically, you're talking about two teams. They could score. I mean, they could put up some points. So I'm not going to look at that. What I want to pull up here is their scoring on the year. You got a Utah team that averages 71.4 points per game. That's not great, but they're allowing the same amount. Then you got a Nevada team that can really score at almost 80 points per game. And I think they're going to, you know, probably control the tempo a little bit, as they like to go a bit faster than Utah State. And shooting percentages across the board on both sides are pretty solid. Utah State, they run some really nice sets. They're shooting over 45% for the floor. Nevada, they're shooting about 45% for the floor. They both can score, and defensively, they're not bad across the board either. But this is, again, kind of a numbers play for me. Last time they met up, 77-66 final with Nevada winning by 11 points there. But again, we have a final there of 143, yet odds makers have come out with this total at 148. And I think the reason is this: that game was actually pretty good up tempo on both sides of the ball, yet Utah State shot just 39% for the floor and Nevada shot just 40%, well above their season averages, although they did shoot the three particularly well. So it kind of makes me feel like they're going to shoot better this game percentage-wise, and if they can keep up that three-point percentage as well and the tempo, I think we're going to see a total that gets over that 148. So although they went to 143 last time, and odds makers, let me pull this up real quick, had that line set, sorry, my computer's acting a little bit slow, at 147. So although it was at 147, they ended up with a final 143. Odds makers have felt compelled to go ahead and set it just a little bit higher as well. They've gone under the last 3 times they've met up, so almost like they're due for an over. That's not really a good handicapping strategy right there. But you know, when we look at that number, that 147, now they've gone a little higher. I think there's good reason for that. So go ahead. You know, well, you don't have to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on that one and go over that 148. That is it. All right, so those are our 2 games I like today. There's actually a couple of others I was kind of leaning to, but the numbers, again, were pretty tight set by oddsmaker. So these are the 2 I thought there was some value on. Tennessee, Georgia, under the 143. Nevada, Utah State, over the 148. Again, we are sitting right now at 162 and 134. Unfortunately, we did that overtime loss yesterday, which puts us at, I believe it's 54.7%. So we're doing okay. Let's see if we can finish up the season on a high note, and I wish you luck on your picks today.
We hope you enjoyed the video. Hey, don't miss out on the best basketball betting content available on YouTube. Click our logo button on the bottom left to subscribe. And as always, guys, give us a like and drop your comments below because we want to hear from you. Visit our website to take advantage of all our free products.